Okay, so I forgot to tell my guests to use headphones, so some of the audio is a little weird, but it's still a super dope episode. Okay, thanks. Bye.
We've had to say well, we will be editing that out so that we can keep our jobs at times. Yes, but it's life is life. That's what makes it so exciting and fun.
Ooh,
okay.
Somebody said recording is important.
Yeah,
that's got fancy. Your camera talking to you? Dang.
Got it like that. Man,
I'm telling you, that's some advanced. I'm telling you, that's some New York awesomeness right there. So we ain't got it on the West Coast. Our cameras are way too relaxed. They're like, oh, all right, we starting? Okay, cool, whatever.
I'm recording mine on a VHS tape.
From back in the day, you got an old grandpa holding it for you.
Back in the day when we were young, we're not kids anymore.
We're not a kid anymore.
I wish I was a kid again.
Kid again.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. You know what? Let's freeze in time. A phone call full of people that know what that is. Hand claps all around, man. I love young people, but they don't be knowing stuff sometimes. They just don't be knowing stuff, you know?
That's it. I think, Phoebe, you are now going to have to be just a regular part of our show. We're gonna
I love it. Just a regular check-in.
Yeah.
Just like, let's get our reality on.
Yeah, the brunch club.
I know. They already got the breakfast club. We'll be the brunch club.
We'll be the brunch club.
We just slowly start moving throughout the day. The lunch club. The snack club. You feel me? Welcome to the Urban Prophets Podcast.
Welcome.
Today we have a special. It's an unplanned series, but I'm gonna call it a series because it's gonna happen from time to time, and I'm calling it. My internet friends, my friends from the internet streets. I had a cool name, but I couldn't remember what it was, but it was something about the internet streets and people that we meet from the internet streets. Maybe that's what it's going to be. It just got made right now. People that we meet.
I like that.
You like that? People that we meet in these internet streets. There we go. That's what it's called. That was the plan the whole time. I just was trying to relate to you all as human beings on the earth. Yes. But welcome to the Urban Prophets Podcast. We have a recently graduated master with us today.
All right.
You don't understand. Who had some troubles earlier this morning. I was going through my social medias and found out that she was so strong she hurt herself. We'll get to it in a second. You'll see what we're talking about here. But we're gonna do a quick check-in because Icky, he gotta go. He has booked himself doubly, triply, because that's what he does, and I'm throwing him under the bus, even though, just whatever. Sorry, how's it going down there?
It hurts a little bit, Donovan, thanks.
Sorry about that. But we are here with our friend Phoebe Elegant Jones. Okay? Otherwise known on these internet streets as the Blu Poetres. And you got to follow her. We'll put all the info in the show notes so y'all can make sure you go and do that. And we'll get into all of that in a minute. But we want to do a quick check-in, all right? We always like, you got to just check in. You don't just jump into business. You got to check in on people. So we'll do it real quick. We're going to do a 1 to 10. Where's your level? 10 is I'm fantastic, absolutely exuberant, and 1 is when is this day over? I need to get to the next day already and blow this one up. All right. So, Icky, we'll start with you since you're gonna leave. My man.
I think I'm like at an 8.5 right now.
Ooh, well, that's up there.
I left a little bit of space in case Jesus shows up because I
okay.
But
I feel you.
So 8.5. Like my son just graduated on Wednesday from kindergarten. Big deal.
Oh, the graduations.
Yeah, I've wrapped up most of my projects. So I'm looking at the summer projects. We're looking different. So I'm in between that cycle, and I say, you know what? I've lived on this earth for over 4 decades, so I'm proud of that. I'm not ashamed of how old I am because I look good. Somebody say,
yes.
But
amen.
But
he wasn't fishing for
something
comments.
I think I know, right? Drop that in a comment.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No. One thing I found out about myself, one thing I know about myself is that I've got an issue with saying no. I've got an issue with overworking, and I don't know how to change that. It's never going to change. It just won't change. I don't think it's never going to change.
I heard that it's an island thing.
Yeah,
he's Tongan. This guy is Tongan, Phoebe.
Yeah.
And what I've heard is that a lot of island homies don't like saying no, and it just
that's true.
It happens. That's why every time I hang out with Icky, he's driving from this, an hour here and then to somewhere that's 2 hours later, but he's got to be there in 10 minutes. So
we just passive aggressively hate people.
Oh, dang.
Of course I'm going to help you, but I hate them.
But I do not wish you would have asked me to do it. But you're at an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm at 8.5, man. How about you?
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay. Well, let me go. We want to honor, we want to prop up our guests.
Yes.
We're going to put her front and center. So first of all,
because everybody trying to stay up with Phoebe, man.
Right. So round of applause for Phoebe. Welcome to the Urban Prophets. First and foremost, I am literally clapping in a round. That's a dad joke version of that. How are you? What would you rate your day from 1 to 10 scale?
I'm going to have to say it's about a 6.7.
Ooh, we're getting intricate.
Yeah, only because I just suffered a loss, so still kind of wrapping my brain around. Well, suffered 2 losses actually, but one a little bit more fresher than the other one. So that one's kind of clouding things just a little bit.
Yes. Okay. And because I'm a stalker, I do know a little bit of what she's talking about. And we'll get into it. We'll get into it in a moment. I'm not a weird stalker, just regular internet stalker. Regular stalker. Everybody calm down. Calm down, all right? Just relax. Okay, just take it easy. All right, so 6.7. All right. Well, my friend, I would also say I'm going to round an 8, but I also just was reminded when Phoebe, when you just shared that, and so this is I am now at a 7.5. But wow. It's not like you made me sad. This is just I'm joining in solidarity with the moment. It's a willful let's do life together. You know what I'm saying? So 7.5. For that.
I would like to change my answer too.
This guy is always trying to take somebody's stuff. You didn't think of it.
No, listen. I can't have an 8.5 when we're all at like 7 and 6s. I'm gonna come down to. I'm gonna do a 7 point. What'd you say? What'd you say you were, Donovan?
I said 7.5.
Okay, then I'm at 7.25.
Oh God! You always got to. What a petty supporter. Golly. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna get into this, y'all. Phoebe is awesome, and you're gonna find out why right after this message from our sponsors. So we'll be right back, y'all. We'll be right back. And we're back. Well, we meaning Phoebe and I, because this guy Icky, like we were talking about him double booking himself.
Yeah, man.
He's already gone. Just made it here for the introductions. That's it. Yeah, if you got a lot, if you're serving the world, great, whatever. Right. But this is the most important thing, and he missed it, and so he now, he might still be able to go to heaven, but he's way back in the line, like way back there, way back. Yeah, he got to get his explanation. He has enough time to get his explanation together, so. That's fine. That's fine. But I am so excited to have you on today. let me give folks a little bit of background on how we connected, and then you can correct me when I'm saying it wrong. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure how many people knew, but last year, March, there was a global pandemic that happened.
Oh yeah, there was that thing.
Yeah. Do you? I don't know if it was cloudy, so I don't know if everybody caught that. But you know, it happened. It was a thing that happened. Yes, and so many of us who found ourselves with a lot of extra time joined something called, I don't know if you heard of this. There's a lot of different social medias out there, but there's something called TikTok. Yes, it's TikTok as in a clock, but we got on there because our various friends or family or whoever said, hey, start doing this thing. And so we made a venture, and I jumped into this world. And I was on there and talking and trying to figure out how to use it, and this energy of locks and great well-spoken words came on there, and it was refreshing to me because I thought it was this was for teenage children, and I was gonna look like a creepy grandpa in the background, like, hey kids, what's going on? You doing those little dances at the disco, and then I found intelligence and thought, and I said, okay, where are the follow buttons so we could get this cracking?
Yes.
And that is where we first met, from a distance. So Phoebe, you are kind of like a celebrity to me, because I literally have only ever seen you on screens, like computer and phone screens. That's it. So I'm talking to a celebrity, and it's so exciting. And then we actually got to connect via I don't know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but you had something where you were kind of like, I'm not sure how long my account is going to be on, but let's not lose contact. So hit me up on Instagram.
Yes.
And then we connected there, and then we actually messaged and talked and got this thing going. Correct me anywhere that I am wrong.
You hit it right on the head. I'm still worried that I'm not gonna be, my days on TikTok are numbered. So.
Oh man, yeah. That is like a constant looming, just weird thing. Like, we're gonna get into our TikTok conversation, but I definitely that when you just said that right now, it just reminded me, because like if you have a video, and you see something like 10 plays, you're like, 10? Really? I was like, I have more than 10 friends on here. Right. For those of you who don't really know about TikTok, you can do friends only videos. So in the friends only videos, I don't know why all of your friends don't get the video. It's all kinds of weirdness in there that we're trying to understand. So we'll get into our TikTok woes and whatnot shortly. But I want the people to get to know you, man, because this is so exciting. This has been the cool thing of the pandemic. I've met all kinds of people.
Agreed.
That never would have. I mean, you're in New York. You're in New York right now. I'm in Cali. How would we have ever met other than, I mean, I'm sure there's possibilities, of course, but, where we'd be doing a podcast together? I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. So I'm so glad to have you on, and just to we're just going to let the people get to know you a little bit. And I sent her some questions ahead of time, but then I thought of some other ones as well. So we'll just kind of flow with those ones as it goes. Because I was thinking, we don't have to go into like, okay, where were you born? What was it like on that day? Was it a cold, rainy, was your mom happy or was she angry? Like, you're right, yeah, but I did want to just anything about like just growing up life. Like, did you have any kind of cool, I don't know, like family traditions or any like weird thing from childhood that you're like, that was an interesting part of my growing up?
I guess our traditions from way back when, Sunday was always at grandma's house. So there were 7 aunts and uncles and now 14 grandchildren. And my cousins and I, we would all, whether it was take the bus, take the train, walk to grandma's house for dinner on Sundays and sometimes even on Fridays. Fridays was more of the cousin hangout. And that was our thing. But I mean, there were barbecues, and when we were really little, we used to go to what was it, Big Bear? Big pool and bus rides. Oh, bus rides were the greatest. We used to have bus rides. I missed those bus rides. And the bus ride was more fun than what we actually did, eating cheese sandwiches, drinking, you know, ting and all kind of tings, and it was, I love, when we were talking before, I loved my childhood. We had a good time and very close with my cousins, still am.
I know, I seen y'all on there doing the dances, man, doing the walks. And, yeah. I listen, guys, I know it sounds like I'm strangely stalking, but this is normal. This is what we do. This is what we do, okay?
If you're on social media, you are gently stalking several people.
Yes. It's the socially approved level of stalking that we're doing here. That was us too. We always did a lot of things at the grandparents' house, or they were kind of like the hub, you know. Your family, are they spread around, or is everybody in the East Coast? Is everybody in New York?
The majority of my family is still here in Brooklyn. I'm now on Long Island, and in the most recent years, I guess there's been a migration to Florida. So there used to always be one Florida family, my aunt and my uncle and 3 of my cousins. They were the Florida babies forever. They were there forever. But then slowly, as you know, people start retiring. So now my dad is in Fort Lauderdale. My brother moved with his wife. So they're in Pembroke Pines. My mom is over in Orlando, and more people are migrating to Florida. So it's pretty much Florida and New York, Florida and New York. And eventually that's the idea, maybe.
So y'all just gonna all just take over Florida then?
Pretty much. Because this cold weather over here in New York, I mean, we are in June and it is raining, and I think like 58 degrees today. I'm over it. I'm over it too, and I'm not even there. Dang. So we get cold, and then we get if we get 2 months of extreme heat and humidity. So yeah, man. And when you said that about Florida, I feel like everybody has somebody in Florida somewhere. Absolutely.
Somebody, because we got Florida family too. And there's always some story where we were in Florida at one point doing something, and I don't know, somebody almost got hit by lightning at the beach or whatnot, and you know,
not even at the beach, Florida, in your backyard.
Right. I'm telling you, man. Although I gotta admit, because I was very naive about the thunder and stuff, I thought it was just a nice light show, and my family was like, "Yeah, we need to." Go head back inside. Yeah. You need to get off. You're the tallest thing on the beach. It's gonna come right to you. Yeah. So let's go back inside. All right. Florida. Okay. Well, when you get down there, that's gonna be a whole new vibe going on. Yeah. Well, so let's get into this. The first kind of few videos that I saw of you online were speaking about race and these things that are just kind of like mostly race and culture kind of things. And then as we started to learn more, I saw that you were a teacher. So I want to kind of start with the teacher stuff. Okay. And were you always into education? Did you always plan on being a teacher? Was that your passion, or how'd that come about?
When you see my face.
Oh.
No. I thought about several careers before landing where I finally landed. When I was much younger, I wanted to be a pediatrician, found out how much school you had to do. Then I wanted to be a lawyer, found out how much school you had to do. Then I thought, oh, I'll be a journalist because I do like to write, found out at that time weren't that many black people, black women on the news. Okay. So then it was, okay, let me try education. And I didn't declare my education major until I think my junior year of college, which is what I tell my students anyway.
Oh,
you have until your junior year to declare your major anyway.
Yeah.
But then even after graduating with this beautiful academic degree, I went into business. I got a great job doing in corporate America, making buku bucks.
Okay.
But the problem was I was making the money. I just finished having this conversation with my son and my family members. That I was making the money, but because I was a black woman in corporate America, I could not get the titles. So my boss,
really now?
Yeah, my boss, who was a white woman at the time, would tell me honestly, like, listen, this is an all white boys club. She was like, I'm gonna give you the money because you deserve it. She's like, but I can't give you the title. So I would train people and they would rise in rank. But then she would show me behind the scenes, you're making more money than them, but they had the titles. You know what I'm saying? And then they had a massive layoff. So I took my nice little package, chilled for several months, because that package was nice. Chilled for several months. And then finally my mom was like, so what you gonna do with this teaching degree? Why don't you go and teach? And I was like, oh, yeah, about that. And I spent, I think, 2 weeks over the summer of 2001, literally going from Long Island, every single school, from Long Island to Queens, and just handing my resume in. And it was, I think, the end of August, and I was almost finished. I went to my school and another school. By the time I was on my way back home, my school called me back and was like, can you come back for an interview? And I had to turn around on the Long Island Expressway, make my way back, and I was hired on the spot.
Hey, okay.
And, you know, as they say, the rest is history. So I have been at the same school for my daughter just turned 21 for the past 20 plus years.
Wow. Yeah. Now, is that because you really love that place and you're invested in it?
I am vested in it. It's a great school in certain aspects. But what dug my heels in was my previous assistant principal. While I was on bed rest with my son, she called me and said, hey, what would you think if there was a program for your son specifically to help him get internship scholarships and into top tier universities? I was like, that would be great. She was like, great, when you come back from maternity, I got this program I want you to run.
Boy, that's a real, she's like good with the sales pitch though, huh? Made it personal right away. Pitch.
And when my program at my school first started, it was me with one class of boys. That was it, one class of boys, because my AP walked around and she said that there were no boys of color in any advanced placement classes. And it bothered her and it upset her. So our first class was an English class, just the boys. And the idea was to watch them and stay with them and follow them and get them to those advanced placement classes and honors classes. And that was when did I start? I started with them in 2009. I now have, at last count, 258 kids in the program currently, and
wow.
I don't know how many thousands of graduates
have gone through it.
Correct. And
now, is this something that they do in like parallel with regular, or this is their program?
This is in conjunction with whatever classes they have. So in the past, and again, when you lose principals and people changing of hands, it used to be my program, my kids were at least 2 of my classes. Now, you know, the DOE stepped in and was like, no, you can't have classes based on race. So now my classes are, it's not a class anymore. I meet with them as an advisory period, if you will. And I follow them and get them, like I said, internship scholarships and top tier universities. And right before this call, I was actually watching my past president of my program graduate from CUNY City College. So I was over here hollering for my baby boy, because they're all my babies. Nice. They call me Mama EJ. That's my name. They're my babies. I let their parents know they're mine.
Nice.
And that is what keeps me going to work. If it wasn't for this program, I probably would have walked away. I would have walked away many times.
Man, isn't that's you know, that's a blessing. That's a blessing, because to have that, because I've also had things like, man, if it wasn't for, you know, insert whatever the blank is, right, I'd have been lost this job, you know. So I'm always like, thank you, God, for placing whatever that thing is, because these people this school would have burned to the ground, or this building, or whatever the space was. You'd be hearing about it on the news. So Thank God for those things. Yes. Now, speaking of graduations, you have very recently done one yourself.
Speak on it.
What was that about now?
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Okay.
But it goes back to those same students of mine in my program. So my catchphrase for the program is to go out and be successful, right? And I only make exceptions when the exceptions are exceptional. So my students know these 2 quotes of mine verbatim. And
yes,
I originally was contemplating, it was really going to be a doctorate, but I'm a sucker, and when it was time to crack open the GRE, my feelings were hurt and I couldn't do it. I am not a good test taker at all. My anxiety was not cooperating. For your doctorate, you have to take a language and you have to pass math again. And I have not been in a classroom in 20-something years, so that wasn't happening for me. And when I was defeated and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it, my students stepped in and was like, yes, you are. We'll tutor you. We'll tutor you for the GRE.
Wow.
Right? We'll mentor you. And then I got my feelings hurt again because I got declined. I did not get accepted for the doctoral program. And it was one of my sorority sisters that said, why don't you do an MFA? And I was like, oh, well, what is that? And so it's a Master of Fine Arts, and it's a terminal degree. So I'm done. Technically,
so you've gone to the heights, yes.
And as far as I'm concerned, there's an imaginary DR in front of my name forever and ever.
Yeah. We'll say DR.
And I'm putting it in the atmosphere. I just saw Ava DuVernay just got her designation from Yale, I believe, that she got an honorary doctorate. So I'm putting it past her. out in the universe.
Let's put it out. Let's put it. I'm doing it too. I'm doing it into the camera.
Thank you. I will be getting an honorary doctorate at some point in my future life.
Yes.
But it was my students and my sorority sisters that really were like, get your MFA. You love to write. Why are you not doing your dream? You've been, I've been pushing my students for decades. And they were like, Miss, you tell us all the time. Why are you not pushing for your own dream? And
facts.
That was nice. It's always nice when students turn the tables on you.
I know, right? That's great. But it turns out so well. It turns out great because you just did that thing. You just did that thing. No, that's awesome. I had a question too. I was thinking because the sorority. So you are Zeta Phi Beta sorority. Zeta Phi Beta. Yeah. Yeah. See, I tread lightly around the Greeks because I don't even try to act like I know. I'm like, I know the letters in Greek because we have it in theology, but that's not where it is. Yeah, really. But what was that experience like? How did you always know going into college that you wanted to get into a sorority, or was that something how'd that come about?
Not at all. So
really,
I knew nothing about Greek life. I had gotten my associate's degree. Was getting ready, or I should say I was getting ready to graduate with my associate's degree. And my cousin was attending West Virginia University and invited me up for the Step Show weekend. She was, she is a Zeta. So she invited me to their Step Show weekend. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sounds nice. All right, no problem. Went up there. And when I tell you, everyone embraced me.
Wow.
And while I was there, I don't know if it was my cousin or one of her sisters that was like, why don't you apply? They got a great education program here. So while I was there for Step Show weekend, I filled out the application. And back then it was pen and paper. I walked into the office, sat down at a desk.
You actually got to write.
Right. Yeah. Filled it out. And I think by that Friday when I got back home, I had gotten my acceptance letter. So I was like, what?
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. And something happened with the dorm situation. Like, whatever could go wrong went wrong when it was time for me to actually go to West Virginia. And one of her sisters was like, listen, I need a roommate. Why don't you and I get an apartment together? Didn't know me from a hole in the wall except meet me that one time. And she is now my best friend, my son's godmother. I'm her son's godmother. And we have been friends for now going on, God, what was that, 94? 93. Almost 30 years. God, almost 30 years.
Hey, let's come through with the connections.
Right. And they never, ever pressured me like, you need to become a Zeta. No, I was just with them. Anytime they did something, hey, Phoebe, you want to come along? Okay, sure, no problem. And then just having that sisterhood, because it's like nothing that I've ever experienced, to have someone there pushing you nonstop, and you talk about academics, because you had to have a certain GPA, and to have my big sisters that would walk into my classes, talk to my professors. You know what I'm saying? It was
wow.
Yeah, oh yes.
Okay, this is a new level of information. I did not know it was like that.
Yeah, and they also, and it's interesting that both my undergraduate chapter and my first graduate chapter were very into our Blackness and our having African roots and Sankofa. And so it was nice that was part of my process. And the relationships that I have built being in my sorority are never ending. I love my sorority with every fiber of my being.
That sounds amazing. And I definitely didn't know. So now Zetas, so now as I'm understanding, with all of fraternities and sororities, are they not necessarily around black culture? Like, okay, this is a black sorority.
That's the way it was meant
what is that? Yeah.
That's the way it was meant to be. And I know there's a video that's gone viral right now of a white woman.
Yeah.
And, you've seen it too. And we are an all-inclusive organization. We don't shun anyone. I know my sorority in particular, we're worldwide. So we have chapters all over the world. So when I go to a ballet or a conference, I'm seeing Zetas of every nationality, every creed, color.
Nice.
And it is beautiful. But I also have to add that our Greek sorority and fraternities were created for us to have a safe space, right? They were created on historically black universities. Howard University was the major hub for many of our Pan-Hellenic Greek organizations. And it was for us because we were not welcome in, the Phi Delta Kappas and the Beta Beta Mu's, and, they didn't want us. So we created our own. And, just like everything else in this world, anytime we have something for us, everybody else wants a piece of it. But the difference
because it's
is
lit. Because black people are lit.
We don't exclude people.
Yes.
When people were excluding us. And still do.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. That's so crazy. Like, the video that went that went extremely viral during summer protests with Kimberly Latrice Jones about, her Monopoly analogy. And so she was talking about that, and she finishes that discourse off where she's like, and you better be glad that what black people want is just like, hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Hello? Am I there? Am I there?
Hello?
Oh.
Donovan?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Donovan!
Hello? Hold on one second, y'all. We gotta figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna call you right back. Our connection got lost. Hold on, folks. Hold on, people. Technology, man. Technology. Hello?
Was that you or me?
Are we back? I don't know.
I'm like,
See, somebody was like, oh, they're about to say something important. Let's ruin it. Oh, the feds, they're listening. They are really on it. Yeah. So I don't know what the last thing you heard me say was, but
you were talking about the video that came out a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago with author activist Kimberly Latrice Jones, and she was giving this Monopoly analogy, and she finished off, and she was saying at the end, like, you better be glad that what we want is just like fair treatment and not revenge. And I was thinking about it, I was like, that is crazy, because literally all the time our people get all kinds of hate, all kinds of oppression. But that is very rarely the energy that we put out. We're always like, let's be inclusive. Even when we're doing all, like, basically, it's like if black people do something, then it becomes amazing. And then we're never like, you can't get it. We're like, yeah, come, be a part, learn, grow, educate yourself. That's always been our stance. I mean, and even the times with our leaders that have been more aggressive and things that people would quote unquote try to say, oh, you're actually being violent and you're the problem. The only reason that aggression has even risen is in defense of ourselves, like self-defense, self-protection. It's like, if you all would be cool, we wouldn't have to do this. We're doing this because y'all are tripping.
Right.
Yeah. So I like black people. Let's just keep it going. And I'm glad it's embodying itself in all areas, even in the Greek life as well. So let's get into the your second degree, the second master's. What was the degree first?
It's a Master of Fine Arts in writing with a concentration in poetry.
Concentration, but now if y'all haven't heard her poems, y'all need to get on it. Get your life together. Did that poetry contest? Did they ever finish up, or is it done? Or
and I need to do a post and a thank you because I did get I got my medal. It came in the mail. So yeah, I was like, ooh. Yeah,
she killed it, y'all. Yeah, y'all don't even know about it. See, I told you, this light stocking, you just find out all this stuff. But yeah, she had a great poem. And I did see all the other poems, and hers really, I was going to vote for her anyway. I told her, I was going to vote for you anyway. But you actually were the best. So great. It just made me feel even better about voting for you. So that's good. It's always nice when what you plan to do is what's the right thing to do anyway. That's always good when that works out. So, how did you get into that? Were you always wanting to be into writing? Was that a...
Oh, yeah. I've been writing since I can remember holding a pen. Writing was my means to get whatever was in my head. Like, I would get grounded and write my mother epigraphs. I would argue with my father and mail him, a 10-page essay. Like, I was that kid. I was always writing. If I got a bad grade in class, I wrote a letter to the teacher. Like, I was always and my sorors will tell you now, if something goes wrong, Phoebe's gonna write a scathing letter.
It's coming.
That's my thing. But I genuinely love writing. And when I was younger, my poems were, kitschy. I just finished, somebody had brought it up. I just finished looking at some of my old stuff and Chile, the inexperience, the amateurity, it's like, but I loved writing. And when I went to, I was at, was not Farmingdale. I was at Suffolk Community College in Selden. And I had a professor, and I've been trying to find her, and I cannot. Elaine Preston. I still remember her name. And I had her for creative writing. And I loved her class. I mean, the things that she would have us do to write something, it was so unconventional from what I had ever experienced in a classroom where it was just sit, write. You have 10 minutes, you have 15 minutes, you have 30 minutes. She would have us stand on desks. She would have us walk outside. It was, and that's what I wanted. And that's what I try to do with my students. So I loved creative writing. But of course, coming from a Caribbean background, my mother, you can't make no money from writing no poetry.
Yes.
Go on buy your books, right? And then fast forward to this weekend where I finally made her understand, like, wait, so people are giving you money on TikTok? Yes. So that when I sell my book, those same people need to buy my book, and when they do, I'm good. So now she kind of sees it more so than ever before. But yeah, I light up when I write. There is a freedom behind a pen, and I'm still very much old school. Pen and paper. It's very rare now, unless I just can't find one, that I'll type something out on my phone or my iPad. But I genuinely love writing, and this MFA has reignited that passion for me, where I really thought going in that I was a certain kind of writer. This is it. This is what I do. And to have me walk out of it now having an appreciation for sonnets, which I hated. I was the only English teacher, I think, on the face of the planet that absolutely abhorred sonnets. I hated them, despised them, didn't teach them, tiptoed my way around them.
Lord.
And
what, did you ever have students who was like, hey, what about this?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. The syllabus says that I'm supposed to, but what we gonna do today is, that was me. And but now my professor rope-a-doped me into taking her sonnet class as one of my last classes for my degree, and showed me all of these Black authors that were writing sonnets. And I had no idea, because when I think of sonnets, I think of dead white men.
Yeah.
Not woke queens and kings, right? And the one sonnet that took me over, and normally I have it right at my feet, but it's somewhere down there and I can't reach it. A Wreath for Emmett Till. And it's a book almost like a children's book, because it's got illustrations and beautiful artwork on every single page. And when I tell you, when we read this, she had us read it out loud in class, all of us. There was silence, there were tears. It was just, oh my God. And ever since then, I have been telling everyone about this book. And Lord help me if I ever meet the author. But what she created, which I'd never heard of, was a crown of sonnets, which means the last line of the previous sonnet connected to the beginning of the next, creating a crown, right?
Yes.
But this author took it a step further and created a heroic crown of sonnets, which means that her last poem was all of the last lines created one sonnet by itself.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So
wow.
I can't even. And it is now it's my summer nuts. It's my summer goal is to write a heroic crown.
Okay.
It's my next thing. Like, and that's, oh my God, I wish you could see my face. That's the joy of being a writer, that just when I thought, okay, I'm a writer, great. Now, oh wow, I have this new challenge. I have something else to force myself to do. And, you know, and there are all different kinds of poems that I'd never heard of that I learned, and acrostic and phrastic and all these other things that I never knew in my little bubble of loving poetry and calling myself a poet. Now I really feel like I am officially a poet. And there is such delight, and I can't wait. Like, I'm eager and trying to figure out, like, okay, what's my topic going to be? Because this heroic crown, let me tell you something. It's hard writing a sonnet in and of itself. But to have each sonnet connect to the last, whew.
Yeah. That's like a skill that you know when people think they can do something, you know?
Yeah.
And then they have pretty good skill, but they haven't had the training to help them articulate the skill that they have and then use that to go to the next level.
Right.
I love that. That is the one thing that I would say I loved about school, because, you know, for me, I went to, you know, you get this Masters of Divinity, which is a weird name, by the way. It's a weird name. Masters of Divinity. How are we mastering divinity? But anyway, that's what it's called. And you get it. And I'm like, okay, so this is like a degree about learning how to preach and like do Bible studies and stuff. Like, come on. Like, I already feel like I know how to do that. But you get the language. you get the perspective. You get to know awesome terms like crown sonnets. And then what heroic, like, first of all, we didn't even know that we didn't know that.
Right.
You know? And now
I was
you are about to bless us with that.
When I found out.
Exactly, right? So it's amazing. And how it just takes you to that next level. That's the thing. That's the thing, man, about school that I think a lot of people don't get, because they're kind of like, you know, I can do the entrepreneurial thing. Let's go to this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you're like, okay, no, it's good. You know, if that's your route, go, be blessed in that. Yeah. But there is something that you could get that you're not quite latching on to when you don't allow yourself to get into that,
right,
that space. So that's good. And when you said that, you know who came to mind is I was listening to Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." That album, he always does these kind of concept albums, but that one in particular, "To Pimp a Butterfly," it seemed like it had some of those notes in it, because he would, even the skit that he would do, he had the skit. It was like like a spoken word piece thing that he did. And then he has, at the end of the skit, it's this girl that he's dating, and she's berating him for how he's a no good Negro. And the last thing she says to him is, "You ain't no king." And the very next song is King Kunta, his song King Kunta. And I thought, that's when it hit me. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
That was
he meant to do that.
Yes.
And that's when the level goes up, like, okay, we're not just listening to music. We're really listening to art. We're really listening to art right now.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. So I can't wait. So you got so is your project, is that what it's about? Is that is it going to be I know you're kind of like, I don't really saying too much, but what could you say? What could you say about your project?
I know that I know that my heroic crown, it's going to be about race. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I just don't know at what level. I've written a couple of sonnets for the class. So I'm deciding if I want to use one of those as either my springboard, my ending, because what my professor said, she was like, when you think about constructing it, right? In my head, I think, I write one sonnet, I got to make the next one connect, and so on and so on and so on. But she said, what if you have a sonnet already, and now you create the crown after the fact? So you already have the full piece. Now take each of those lines and make those the ending for the rest of the crown. So I haven't figured out which one I want to do yet. So I have a couple of really beautiful ones that my professor loved. So I don't know, but I know once I want it to be about race. I just don't know in what aspect of race. And a possible idea, only because the tongue-in-cheek is not lost on me, to have it be about hair. Just that tongue-in-cheek, a heroic crown, and here I am talking about my crown. So I don't know if I could get 13 sonnets out of my hair.
You're not talking about, I know I could get, after you done did all this, you got to do it.
That's where my head is at.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I can't wait. And we will be buying this and supporting it, everyone. Just kind of keep it in your mind there right now. This is what I love. And this is the thing, too, that I love that I found about social media. Even if I'm growing slowly, right? So I don't have like a big following. But the people that are there, they're down. They're really down, you know? And so I love that. Okay, so let's spend the last half here talking about TikTok.
Yeah.
Talking about TikTok. First of all, how did you get into TikTok? I talked about how I got started. My cousin told me I need to do it. But how did you get into it?
All right, y'all. That's part 1 of the conversation. Got to come back for part 2. We talking TikTok, self-love. Phoebe gives us some advice that we can all live by. All right, so tune back in, y'all. Tune back in. All right, for part 2 of my conversation with Phoebe Elegant Jones, a.k.a. the Blu Poetres. For now, Urban Prophets, we out. Bum, ba-da, bum, bum, bum.